The fantasy draft season is already here. This is the best time of the year, bar none, especially for those of us that have been waiting so long. But the wait is now over. So as we get ready, we gear up for the upcoming drafts that you have in your fantasy leagues, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 players that are potential league winners that don't actually cost you that much of a draft cost at all. So be sure to stay tuned. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Ivan Herrera. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm passionate about fantasy football. So let's get into it right away. The first player that you're going to want to pay attention to is going to be Roschon Johnson, running back out of the Chicago Bears. What people don't know, this dude was Bijan Robinson's backup, and a lot of the hype, rightfully so, went to Bijan all throughout his collegiate career. All the talk in the offseason was Khalil Herbert now sliding into the RB1 role with the departure of David Montgomery to Detroit. However, I'm not all that convinced with Khalil Herbert. Not saying that I'm not convinced in his ability, but when you just look at the things that Roschon Johnson brings to the table, he has me thinking that he could potentially be taking over this backfield late into the season. So far throughout the preseason, Roschon Johnson has been very impressive. There's been a lot of good conversation about how he has been effective in all categories of the game, especially as a pass blocker. We've also seen Deontay Foreman struggle in the offseason, so I believe that Roschon Johnson could be someone that you should pay attention to, considering that he's available late. The reason why I'm also leaning on Roschon Johnson, he has a bigger frame compared to any of the running backs that are currently in that backfield, and I believe that he has the true capabilities, because of his huge frame, to be a true 3-down back in that backfield. So just in case you're wondering, Roschon currently is going 144th overall, which means you can get him near the 12th round. So he's going essentially free. And lastly, and most importantly, Chicago is actually facing the second easiest schedule for running backs. Another person that you're going to want to target is going to be someone that joined a brand new offense, and that's going to be Elijah Moore from the Cleveland Browns. Elijah Moore had a very promising season when he was a rookie, and had a very disappointing one last season, but there were so many different factors that played into that. Of course, one of them being that he was looking to get traded. He wasn't happy with the organization, with the Jets at the time, but now he is among a new offense with Kevin Stefanski as well as the Cleveland Browns. And a lot of what we've been hearing, especially from Kevin Stefanski, is that he expects Moore to be a big part of the offense. And the article that I'm sourcing also goes further to say that they are looking to get him involved with jet sweeps and screens. With his explosiveness as well as his athleticism, I can see Elijah Moore flourishing in this offense. Elijah Moore also gave fantasy managers a warning when he had said you'll regret it if you pass up on him this upcoming season. Now, most importantly, the thing with Elijah Moore, he's currently costing you an 8th to 9th round cost, and with the upside that he's able to provide at that ADP, he is a potential league winner that can make a huge difference for you this upcoming season. So after you get this player, you're gonna want to also keep an eye out for Zach Charbonnet out of the Seattle Seahawks. Zach Charbonnet, in my opinion, is probably the most valuable handcuff this upcoming season, and a lot of it is because of the offense that he's in. But here are some other reasons why I'm high on him this upcoming season. Now, this UCLA product does have the frame to be a true 3-down back, and Seattle did use pretty high draft capital to actually get Charbonnet, which makes me feel confident with him having a role in this offense. One thing that we saw his counterpart Kenneth Walker struggle in last season was his receiving ability. That in no way is an area that Zach Charbonnet actually struggles in. He is an effective receiving running back. And if anything were, God forbid, to happen to Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet would easily be a top 5 to top 10 running back option in those games where he is the lone running back in that offense. And the main thing always comes down to ADP. Currently, he's going 100th overall, which means he's available between the 8th and 9th round. And with the kind of upside that he provides, he is a potential league winner that must be drafted on your fantasy teams. All right, guys, before I give you these last few players, if you are getting value in this video, be sure to hit that like button. Another wide receiver that I'm actually really targeting is going to be Jeudy out of the Denver Broncos. I know, this dude just had a knee injury that potentially will have him out for the start of the season. However, I would buy the dip, because in a down season last year, he was a top 20 wide receiver. I feel even despite with his injury, he's the wide receiver you want to have in this offense. I'm a true believer of what Sean Payton is going to do. I believe that Denver offense will turn for the better, especially after Russell Wilson's first season with Denver wasn't all that was expected. And I believe that with all that, Jeudy is going to be a prime beneficiary of Sean Payton being part of that offense. And ever since coming into the league, Jeudy has been one of those receivers that gets a lot of air yards. I know in 2021 he missed some time. However, his rookie season, he had over 1,500 air yards, and last season he had over 1,100. He also was ranked 12th among wide receivers with deep targets, and I believe that now with Sean Payton there calling the shots, this is only going to open up Jerry Jeudy's game even more. And I believe that with Jerry Jeudy's ADP currently going to the 5th round and potentially going even lower because of the concerns that fantasy managers have with that knee injury, I would buy the dip and invest in Jerry Jeudy as a wide receiver option for you this upcoming season. Now, the 5th and final player that I would target as a potential league winner is going to be quarterback Trevor Lawrence out of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, we see this trend quite often where the 3rd season for a quarterback typically is the year where they break out, and being that he is in a system that is led by head coach Doug Peterson, and this Jacksonville Jaguars offense is loaded with weapons such as Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, Evan Ingram at tight end, and they also drafted a solid running back with Tank Bigsby. The point is that there's a lot of great weapons here, and with that, a lot of optimism to what he can provide this upcoming season in fantasy. I've always loved the ADP of Trevor Lawrence. It hasn't gone too much. Currently, right now, he's going 55th overall. So if you were to miss on the top 4 quarterbacks, you can settle and wait a couple rounds later and get Trevor Lawrence, someone who I believe is going to have a huge breakout season, not just because of the weapons that he has. He also has the 12th easiest schedule when it comes to the strength of schedule among quarterbacks. Hey guys, thank you so much for making it to the very end of this video. If you got value out of it, be sure to like and subscribe. But also, if you're looking to up your game right now with fantasy draft season already among us, be sure to check out some of these other videos here that can help you dominate your upcoming drafts.